Alright, so this is me staying the night. I'm trying to give you an interesting story here. With Flash, without Flash. Okay. Oh gosh, yeah, so this is what I mean. This is great. This is great because I literally forgot that I did this. Okay. All right. I finally reached my first story that I can tell you. All right. No one's heard this story before. You're literally the first people who have ever heard this story. So okay. All right. So this is where like the information you need, because otherwise this isn't going to make a whole lot of sense, or like it's going to make the story a lot better. All right. So this road trip was taken in 2015. All right. Now, the year before, in 2014, which I will put videos up later, I did a thru hike with a buddy of mine, which if you don't know what a thru hike is, it's basically doing a really, really, really long trail or trek through the woods in one go. All right, so you're hiking the entire trail at one time. You're through hiking. Okay. So basically, my buddy and I, it's a long story, but the short version is that on a whim, my friend Chris Profit and I through hiked the Appalachian Trail. Okay, which if you don't know what that is, it starts in Georgia. Okay, the U.S. Okay, Georgia. All right, and then Maine. Okay. We got off a plane in Georgia, all right, Atlanta, and we walked to Maine. That's 2,200 miles, by the way. All right, that's a really long freaking way. We were in the woods for 5 months, basically, a little bit less. So, fast forward for a year, and I'm on this massive road trip, all right? Now, the thing you need to know about thru hikers in particular is that thru hikers, they don't really bathe, okay? Like your cleanliness level is like, there's like, well, here's a good hierarchy, okay? You have like your normal person, okay? And then you have like your like dirty person. You know how like if you're ever in the grocery store or, you know, you meet somebody and you're like, ooh, like you kind of stink, okay? Like that's like, ooh, normal person, dirty person. Then you have like your hyper clean people, but you know, normal, and then they're like, you're dirty, you're like, ooh, you should like buy a stick of deodorant, you know what I'm saying? Then, I don't mean this in a mean way, it's just like how it is because of the lifestyle. Then you have like your homeless people, okay, where it's like, hey, they just don't have the access to things that, you know, not being homeless have, okay? And then when you meet some of them, if you ever had a conversation like in depth, you're like, okay, like you're in a rough place, you know, like you haven't bathed for a while, okay? So you have your homeless person. Then you have thru hiker, okay? Like I guarantee you thru hikers smell worse than homeless people. Guarantee, all right? Now, let me move this up just a little bit. Now, granted, clean person's like way up here, okay? Clean person, normal person, dirty person, homeless person, thru hiker. Then you had Chris and I, all right? Chris and I were dirty among thru hikers, all right? How do I know this? Because at one point on the trail, we walked 488 miles. Okay? 488 miles. Have you ever walked 488 miles in your life? Probably not. I have. And in that 488 mile stretch of walking, I never bathed. Once. Okay? Now granted, disclaimer, I got rained on like 5 times. And I swam once. So that's like a bath, right? You're like swimming in a river. Like that counts. And rain. Like a bath, right? No, it's not a bath. Like now that I'm a normal person again, well, kind of normal. You see this giant beard and mop of hair and whatnot. But like, I put on deodorant now. So like, I've moved up in the ranks of like humanity. But when we told our thru hiker friends that, they were like, y'all are disgusting. Like, even thru hikers thought we were gross, okay? So now, with that said, like, fast forward to this day, all right? So, living out of my car, it's only me. There's no girlfriend. There's really no people interaction, okay? So, like, basically, I just, like, drive to national parks and take pictures, and like because of my past of like being really 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 nasty, like I hadn't bathed in a while. Like I don't know how long, but like there's a good chance that I hadn't bathed probably since Yosemite, which I don't know how long this was. It'd probably been 2 weeks, something like that, since I'd taken a shower. So I'm pretty ripe. If you're like a normal person, I'm down on the totem pole. Like I'm passed down dirty. I'm gross. So here I am, and I stay the night. I'm like, oh great, what a great campsite. Like, I'm in the redwoods, which I wasn't planning on staying in the redwoods, but I didn't understand how ridiculously amazing they were. So I was like, okay, I need to stay in the redwoods. So I got a camping spot, and this camping spot, it was like $35. I'm like, I literally could have got a cheap hotel room for a plot of ground. It's the same. So it's like way inflated, which is like kind of frustrating. But it is what it is. I think it was $28 now that I'm thinking about it. But still, it was like, that's expensive. For a spot of dirt, $28 to sleep on the ground. Anyway, but it was so majestic, I had to. So, come in the next morning, and I find this spot. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so pretty. And I'm like, no one's around. And I have no hotel room that I'm going to be staying in the foreseeable future. I have no friends around. I freaking reek, all right? So I literally, like, it was a hot day. Now, granted, it was a hot day. But still, I was like, it's a bath! Like, let's have a bath. So I literally went swimming in this so that I could bathe. All right, and here I am. And this was funny because, like, this just happened. It's not because I was so personally dirty. I mean, it probably didn't help. But you can see in these little pictures here. I wonder if I can zoom in here. Can I zoom in? Kind of. Those are fish, and they are eating the dead skin off of my feet. So I know that that's gross, but it is. There's a better picture. Let me zoom in. Which is a very kind of weird experience. So they like bite, and it's kind of like a little pinch. Like it's really weird. And it's like it's a weird thought because like they're literally eating you. Like that's weird. You're like alive, and they're like eating you. Yeah. Anyway, it feels weird. So the fish were eating me, and I'm like, I'm going to go for a swim. And then my other thought process is I'm like, I'm going to get some cool pictures in the process of being eaten by fish and bathing. So that was my thought process. Let's see if I actually get any cool pictures. It was kind of like that, but it's, I mean, this is not, again, this is a thru hiker's standard of cleanliness, all right? Do you see the moss and the gunk like floating in this river? In my mind, I'm like, I'm gonna go bathe. Like, I'm gonna go get clean in this river. And the sad thing is it actually worked. Like, I smelled less bad after this, like, swim in the river than I did previously. So that's pretty rough. But anyway, so you're literally the first person to ever hear this story. And that's where it's like, that's why I want to do this, because I'm like, I feel like I have some really interesting kind of ridiculous stories that I could offer the greater humanity, that you might be like, wow, like someone like you actually exists. And I'm like, I know, like, yeah, it's bad. It's real bad.